My dad, Tony Juarez, was born in Brazil to Ukrainian parents on April 29, 1958. They later emigrated to America with their family to Union, New Jersey in 1964, where his father, Radion, soon became a faithful deacon in Pastor Andrew Davidюki's church. He was active in his home church, always participating in musical programs in the Sunday school. John and Rosita helped him to form a young boys group called the Union Boys. And they blessed so many people by using their young years to sing for God's glory. My dad later recorded several CDs singing with John and Rosita, and in 1986 joined Paul and George for their first CD together called Pochui Mene Bože. It became very popular, and soon they recorded 4 more CDs. 2 in Ukrainian, Kevitka and Acorde pro Lubov, and 2 in Spanish, Yo soy el camino and santo. He sang a total of 6 years with the trio from 1986 until 1992. Their travels took them all over the US and Canada, twice to Argentina and Paraguay, and 3 times to the Soviet Union. Their first trip together to Ukraine was in 1986, 3 weeks after the nuclear catastrophe in Chernobyl. People were being evacuated, and the city was in a state of chaos. While Chernobyl's walls seemed to be crashing down around them, Tony, my dad, along with George and Paul, were there to build up the walls of Christ and sang in the churches of Kiev. Through God's glory and my dad, George, and Paul's dedication, many souls came to Christ in that historic trip. My dad sang with George and Paul in the very first public crusades held in the stadiums of the Soviet Union in 1990, in Kiev, Rivne, and 8 other cities. Over 100,000 people heard the gospel for the first time in those historic 10 days. My dad's fondest memories include getting a miracle visa the very last day before their trip to Kiev in 1986, singing in a farm village in Zden for elderly people, talking to a woman who had a dream that the walls of communism fell down, and then seeing that dream come true 2 years later when the Berlin Wall fell, and also meeting a young boy who gave his heart to Christ and who began to do missions work. Later, when that boy tragically died in a car accident, it led a godly example and sacrifice, and it left a deep impression on my dad's life. My dad presently lives with my mom, Sally, and myself and my brother, Mark, and his wife, Ashley, in Chandler, Arizona. Would you please give a warm welcome to my dad singing, "Christ is the Fountain."